The Edmonton Oilers step into their second game of this homestand against the Seattle Kraken tonight here at Rogers Place, and we welcome Bob Stauffer to Game Keys. And Bob, the Edmonton Oilers, there's been a lot of discussion around how their game is trending in the right direction, and that starts with their defensive game. What have you been seeing from how they've been able to dial into that aspect?
Well, Paige, I think the biggest thing is they're actually getting practice time in, and they didn't get a lot in the first 6 weeks of the season. I mean, you were with us, and I think maybe they got a total of 7 practices in. And I think that we're seeing that the attention to details improve because of some of the things that they're working on. So there has been a concerted effort this season it's interesting, in Chris Knobloch's first, about a calendar year, the Oilers were about a top 6 or 7 team in terms of limiting chances off the rush. And something went sideways midway through last year, like the numbers just spiked. Part of it was personnel, like John Klingberg as a defenseman, was coming off an injury, and he wasn't a guy that necessarily wanted to gap up and challenge. And then, so the Oilers were leaking some chances. They changed some things around a little bit. And I'm sensed that they've kind of moved back to what they did about a year ago. They've got different personnel. And the other one's Jake Wallman. I mean, Jake's not been available. But at the end of the day here, what I'm sensing is you're not seeing quite as assertive. The F3, the third forward, isn't selling out on the forecheck. They're making sure they've got support through the neutral ice to help the D out, so they're not facing as many 3-on-2s, which ultimately lead to 2-on-1s. That's part of it. The other part of it is they're managing the puck better. Okay, now I got to tell you, I like their game against Minnesota. Minnesota's a real good team. Their goalie's on a major heater. I mean, we saw what Jesper Wallstedt did. It has not happened in the NHL in 87 years. Wow. 4 shutouts in 6 games. So, he was locked, and he was locked in. Like, he was tracking the puck. Skinner had a pretty good start in Edmonton's goal, with the exception of one. He'd tell you probably should have had that shot off the face-off loss. So I think Edmonton's getting better goaltending. Stu gave up 1 and 2 games. We're going to see Pickard tonight. Calvin's last start, he played very well against Tampa Bay. So a little bit better goaltending, certainly way better defensive awareness, some practice time, a little less aggressive on the forecheck, which I think you have to adjust a little bit. At the end of the day, the Oilers are still like 28th in the league in goals against. They got to be, if they can finish middle of the pack by the end of the year, I'm going to tell you right now they'll make the playoffs, because it'll mean that they're probably, top 8 through 12 in the league in the final 2/3 of the season. So, they're still 31st or 30th in save percentage. And again, if they can get into the middle of the pack, that'll be a real good sign. But I expect the Oilers to play, to start to push here. They've got a very favorable schedule. Seattle is down a couple forwards, including Jaden Schwartz, who just kills the Oilers historically. They won't have Marchment tonight either. He was involved in all that stuff on Saturday with the Oilers. And then the next 3 opponents are playing Edmonton on the second of a back-to-back. So Edmonton's got to capitalize here in these 4 home games that start tonight against Seattle.
And from the way that they've been able to play defensively, you mentioned puck management to offensive production. Where is it that you want to be able to see Edmonton really make that push offensively? Of course, they were able to produce in Seattle on Saturday, and then they're shut out on Tuesday night here at Rogers Place.
Yeah, Paige, it's interesting because they ran McDavid, Draisaitl, and Nugent Hopkins down the middle, and I think that worked to their advantage. And they don't have any other options but to basically go with the same lineup, but they're not going with the same lines. They're going to move RNH with Connor, playing up front, and moving Zach Hyman up. And I think part of it is they control the matchup here, and it's also because Seattle's in a position where they're down a couple forwards. I think one of the things that's got to happen, like Connor, what did he say after the game? I got to shoot more. I agree. Connor was shooting way more 3 years ago than he is right now. The Oilers aren't getting a lot of power plays. They're down, and there's teams that have got 30 more power plays than Edmonton to this junction in the season. Yeah. So sometimes you get more power plays when you get the puck more, and you're driving with speed. You draw more calls that way. I just think that if you have better structure and process in your game, what invariably happens is you do get more power plays because you got the puck more, because you've got a smoother transition game when you get the puck back. And so I think the offense will come, but it will come from better defensive zone play. and away we go from there.
Huge opportunity here at Rogers Place. These next few games, like you said, to be able to build momentum and cash in on a few much-needed points for the Edmonton Oilers. Bob, always a great time with you. Thank you so much.
Hopefully I didn't ramble too much.
No, you never do. It's always excellent. And we expect to have an excellent time here tonight with you, Oil Country.